Battle of the Williams sisters, the most intriguing and anticipated matchup of the tournament, to be contested on center court later today. And here are the sisters, arriving at the All England Club, along with their father and coach, Richard. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan, joined today by John McEnroe. Welcome to Wimbledon. And we are down to the final 4 ladies left in the draw. 3 of them are American, including defending champion Lindsay Davenport. But the big story, of course, the confrontation of the sisters sledgehammer, Venus and Serena Williams. John, you're never without an opinion. Everybody's got one on this match. What's yours?
In this case, I have no idea. This is a really, really tough call, and I wish I knew. I wish I knew. That's why I can just sit back and enjoy this one. It should be fabulous. They're big hitters. I think Serena's had the easier of the draw of the two, but Venus had that huge win over Hingis in the quarters.
Is there any reason to just go with the older sister, in this case Venus?
Being an older brother, I'll say yes. I'll take it.
Well, there's so much speculation about what's going through their minds as they approach this match. Here's what the Williams sisters themselves had to say.
Tennis only lasts so long, and friendship and family lasts a little longer, so that's what's most important to us. We always believe that, most of all because our parents told us that this would happen. That's what we were working for, so that's how we saw it. That's how we visualized it, sure.
Well, John, you can certainly relate to that. Patrick and Mark, your brother Mark, were both players. Patrick, obviously...
Mark, thanks you for that.
Well, Patrick joined you on the tour, and so I think you can relate to their notion of family, certainly.
I can relate to it, but when you compete and you're playing sports, you like to build up a little bit of animosity, possibly, and a little bit of anger towards your opponent, and that makes it extremely difficult and awkward when you're playing a family member.
All right. Well, the match will be coming up a little while from now. A final match between Pete Sampras and his fellow American.
Maud Watson defeated her sister Lillian in 3 sets to take the title. That was the last time that 2 sisters faced each other this deep into a Grand Slam event. Now, the Williams sisters must do something they've never done before. That is, regard each other as nothing more than an obstacle on the way to the championship.
Serena's a great player, and she's just extremely dangerous. And when I play her, I really just try to get it over with real quick, because I don't want to give her a chance to get in. Because I'm a competitor, and on the court, she's just another competitor also. We both are, like piranhas. If we spot any type of blood on any opponent, we're going to go after it and just kill it.
Since they made it to this point, the questions have been asked and re-asked and asked once again.
We've had enough of these questions. It's really beginning to be repetitive. And what can I say? We're going to go out there. We're going to play. What more do you want to say?
They love to be with each other. They hate to talk about it. It's time to play. And maybe the most honest assessment of what we're about to see came when Venus was 12 and Serena only 10.
I think that in the end, Serena will be a better player because Serena understands the mathematics of tennis, and the tennis was so well, so phenomenal the way she can play the angles and the power that she has. So I think that she will be a better player.
What a day, exciting and difficult for the Williams family, but a thrill nonetheless. Center court, Wimbledon. Coming up, sister against sister, Venus against Serena, ladies semi-final at Wimbledon, when our coverage of the championships continues in a moment.
This has been the Sun America NBC.
I can't wait to meet you.
The Williams sisters arrive on center court, Wimbledon. One can only imagine how difficult those few moments in the holding room just before entering the court must have been for these 2 sisters who are each other's best friend, but today will play for the prize they treasure so much, a chance to play for the Wimbledon Championship. And welcome everyone to center court, back with Chris Evert, Ted Robinson, the last player to reach the semifinals of Wimbledon as easily as Serena Williams has. Our own Chris Evert just a few years ago.
With a lot less power, I may add. I was not the player Serena is. I didn't have that explosive power, but I think Serena Williams on paper has to have the slight edge. She's cruised through the tournament, annihilating everyone in her path. She has the last win over Venus Williams, the Grand Slam Cup, and I think a lot of people are saying she is the better athlete. She's more compact, and her court coverage is a lot quicker. So, I mean, you'd have to give her the slight edge if you go by paper.
And certainly many of the other players who've been asked have agreed with that. Yet Venus is the player who has said from the day she lifted your Wimbledon trophies, as you related earlier, this has been the one she's dreamt of, Wimbledon. How much does that play into today's match?
A lot. I think it's hard for me to believe that Venus Williams, after beating Martina Hingis, the #1 player in the world, probably her biggest match so far in her career as far as a big win in a Grand Slam, is going to lose in the semifinals to her little sister. I just think inspiration alone and hunger, you know, it's her turn to win a Grand Slam title. Serena has already done it. Venus hasn't. That inspiration alone, I think, gives her the slight edge.
And of course, Venus Williams is coming in after avenging what everyone in the family has said was her most painful loss ever, the loss to Martina Hingis in the semifinals of the U.S. Open last year. A loss that her mother, Oracene, said she didn't sleep at all the night before watching Serena play the finals.
It was crushing to her, and I think that that also was one of the reasons why she took 6 months off. I think it took the wind out of her sails. Even though she was injured, she needed a break, I think, to reevaluate where her tennis was.
And if you step back just a little bit and look at this big picture, what a sight it is. The Williams sisters standing together. The biggest moment of their young tennis lives as they play each other in the semifinals, center court, the championships Wimbledon.
I see it at the same time almost every day.
In September, she played the Australian Open at the start of the year, but did not play the French Open. And thus a few more matches than her sister, 25 coming into today. And the smooth path, having lost only 13 games to this round.
And the big question is, will this help her or hurt her? I mean, they asked her in the press, you know, you haven't been pushed, you haven't needed to play your best tennis. How do you know it's there? And she said, I can't help it. I've played on a level higher than all my opponents. I've been just too good. So, you know, a good answer. What is she going to do? Make it a close match on purpose just to get the extra practice on the grass?
Well, this will be the 5th time that the sisters have played. The first time ever was in a Grand Slam, but the second round at the Australian. And last year, Chris, at the Grand Slam, the final one, similar situation to this. Venus Williams had beaten Martina Hingis in the semifinals. Serena then won the sister match in the finals. All right, the question, is there going to be a Richard Williams? And the answer so far, no. Dionne Warwick, Gladys Knight.
Well, they have 6 tickets each. I mean, they own that players box right now. They can invite their school friends. They have 12 tickets together. Richard Williams said, if they ask me more than once, I will be there. Well, what are the chances? Of course he's going to be here.
But maybe not in that box. You think Richard might sneak up in the covered sections of center court somewhere?
I think he's going to be in and out this whole match. He said, you know, he's the one that's the most nervous.
What do you think breakfast was like in the Williams household this morning?
I would think it would be a little strained. The atmosphere would be a little somber, a little serious. But, you know, Richard said that the girls were laughing and giggling and happy-go-lucky, and they're really excited about this match. So it remains to be seen if they're going to have, quote, fun, as they say they're going to have, because, believe me, the last few matches, the atmosphere has been a little more serious and somber, and a lot of errors in their matches in the past. You're gonna see such a hard-hitting match here with a lot of winners and with a lot of errors.
When they played each other in a final for the first time, that was in Key Biscayne in the spring of 1999, the tennis was erratic. The two girls had shared a hotel suite, Chris, there during that championship. In fact, Venus was chauffeuring Serena to her matches because she was able to drive at the time. They finally meet in the finals, and there were 107 unforced errors.
That's a lot. But remember Richard holding up the signs. I'll never forget when I was watching TV. Welcome to the Williams Sisters show, and I told you so. And I hope that he doesn't bring these signs to Wimbledon, because it just, the etiquette would be wrong.
Well, a look at the matchup between the sisters. Venus, the taller of the two, weighs more, but Serena far sturdier of build. That strength and power that so many of the other players talk about, Chris. In fact, Andre Agassi was asked yesterday, and he said, look, between the two of them, Serena has a better second serve, probably a slightly better forehand. Martina Navratilova said Venus Williams comes to net because she's supposed to. Serena comes to net looking like she wants to.
The differences to me are so subtle. They're both great athletes. They're both very powerful, and they both play the same kind of aggressive game. What it may come down to is who makes the least amount of errors, because you know we're going to see a lot of winners. That's a given. It's a little bit of a nervous shot there. I mean, they know each other's games better than anyone. They practice together every day for the last 10, 12 years. And like I said, you're going to be seeing a lot of errors. A lot of pressure on both these women. There's been so much press and publicity and talk about this match. A lot to live up to.
And you think that for Serena, this is her first time on center court. That in and of itself has to lend to some nerves.
Right. Venus has been on center court. This is her third singles match. That's a big advantage. Well, that was the first rally, the 4th point, but the first rally of the whole match. Plus the fact Venus has been talking about winning Wimbledon her whole life. And I wonder how that sits with Serena playing her now.
Well, there was the first test of Venus being able to win a point on her second serve.
Both players not really eyeballing one another, trying not to look at each other.
That can't be easy.
Well, they're both worthy of winning this title this year the way they're playing. Serena takes a trip to the net for the first time at this power.
Advantage Serena Williams.
Well, if anyone can read Venus Williams' serve, it's Serena. She's seen that ball come across the net at least 1,000,000 times in their careers.
Creeping in on the second serve.
Juice.
The winner, a spot in Saturday's final. Lindsay Davenport, the defending champ, playing 17-year-old Aussie Jelena Dokic for the other spot in the finals.
Advantage Venus Williams.
A little slip there, very much because the first week the courts were really greasy. Maybe the second day the sun has come out.
Game is Venus Williams.
So Venus Williams saves a break point and holds to begin the match.
Well, that was good for Venus to hold her serve. She wouldn't want to be at a disadvantage right off the bat.
You know, Chris, when you step back and look a little bit at the larger picture of what we see here today, two sisters who've both been, of course, praised for their incredible abilities, have progressed enough as players to reach the semifinals at Wimbledon, and neither one has played a lot of tennis this year.
Between the both of them, they've taken 9 months off, and that's not a good thing for the women's tour, because the women's tour goes 52 weeks, it's 12 months a year, and that's not a good signal. I sort of wonder in the back of my mind, if they start doing well in majors, if they will cut back on their schedule and not feel that they need to play 12 months. Shows what great athletes they are to come back so quickly, though.
Still shy of her 19th birthday. Of course, not even 100 career victories yet.
Plus the fact that they didn't play junior tennis. We'll get into that a little bit later. Serena trying to find her form, meanwhile, on her first serve.
30-15.
Both players have come out on center court a little wild, overhitting the ball.
The adrenaline rush that always goes with a match of this magnitude must be even worse for these two sisters today.
Venus, to me, looking at her face, still looks like she wants it a little bit more. And we have the advantage of being right on center court. Shot from behind the baseline. She moved so well for this ball, and that was hit behind the baseline, which made it even more of an impressive shot.
Serena blasts her first ace.
Serena Williams. Game, Serena.
So Serena Williams holds, and we're at 1-all in the first set.
1 game.
Not only have these two players excelled at an early age with extraordinary success, Chris, but they came up in a most unconventional way, not playing junior tournaments.
Not playing junior tournaments. Richard Williams was not quite sure of the tennis parents. He thought that tennis parents just put too much pressure on their kids at a young age, and he wanted to develop an all-court game at a very early stage, and he really felt that if they played in junior tournaments and they started to lose, they'd panic and fall back into sort of the careful mode of playing tennis, and that would prevent them from trying creative shots and going for their shots. you know, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone. They're such exceptional athletes. They've gotten away with it. But it's taken them a few years, I think, to adjust to competition and to the big points as a result, taking them a little longer.
But here they stand again at a tender age with the ability to reach the semis on grass.
Well, and people thought he was a kook. I mean, people thought he was crazy. What do you mean, no junior tennis? You look at Martina Hingis, you look at Salas, you look at Graf. All the great players played that competition.
Well, that's the easiest game thus far. Venus holds at love. We're on serve to start the match. First year swinging a tennis racket has said this was the championship she coveted most.
Everyone wants to win Wimbledon. And it doesn't matter if I'm playing Serena or I'm playing Pete Sampras. I'm going to want to win Wimbledon.
It's funny, they went on to ask her how did she think she would have done against Pete Sampras, and she said 2-2. So she gave herself credit for winning 4 games. I don't know how that would go over with Pete.
Oh, you mean she said she was going to lose?
Yeah, she would lose, but she said 2-2. Guess she counted on getting some big first serves in.
And you say you can see it in her eyes, Chris?
Venus looks the more eager. She really, I just think that she had such a big win against Hingis, and that it sort of opened up her game a little bit and her desire, her appetite. And this match is going to be psychological. It really is, because these two players have, in my mind, almost the same amount of talent and ability. But Serena's already done it. And doesn't quite yet feel as comfortable on center court as Venus is feeling at this moment. But you see Serena does have a little better court coverage because she is shorter.
15 over.
At 5'10", she's able to cover it more efficiently. She can get down lower than Venus. Venus at times looks gangly.
Not much net play yet. And we saw Venus at net a lot against Hingis.
Well, Hingis was sort of a lightweight player. She wasn't hitting the ball with the power and the force that Serena is. These girls are hitting the ball powerful, but also very deep. No mid-court ball so far. Remember, Venus was hitting balls out of the air, swinging volleys, and Richard said, you got to hit more of those. You should have been into the net a lot more against Hingis. Oh, that's a great point. Those are the kinds of points that people are going to expect in this match more and more once they both get settled down playing here in the semifinals on center court. We're going to be seeing more of those types of rallies. So far, they've been a lot more errors.
So now the break opportunity for Venus. And Serena knew it as soon as it left her racket. And the first break for Venus.
Venus Williams leads.
Usually it's Venus's forehand that will go off before Serena's. Whoa. Well, as Martina Navratilova said when she had to play doubles against them yesterday, Venus's second serve is a little bit softer than Serena's and attackable. Martina, who lost in the doubles, was holding her own pretty well against their power. Venus didn't even get off the mark there.
She gets stuck.
See what happens after she serves. Oh, she had a little slip there. Danger of being broken now by little sis. Serena talking to herself.
Again, got a second serve.
Got a second serve, but perhaps the player that's a little more flustered at this point.
Well, Venus has not had a first serve in this game. And the result, 2 break points for Serena.
I don't know what Venus can throw at Serena that Serena hasn't already seen time and time again. You know, Serena knows all her secrets.
Venus's ball out on the baseline.
Well, the umpire overruled. The linesman had both her hands out as to say the ball was good. The umpire overruled.
So Serena Williams breaks back again on serve.
Friday, NBC All-Star Week continues.
It's for such a match. Sisters playing in one of the final rounds at Wimbledon. You have to go back a long way, though. 1884, the first Wimbledon ladies final. Maud Watson defeated her sister Lillian in 3 sets. To win, or for winning, Maud received a silver flower basket. Lillian is the runner-up, a silverback mirror and hairbrush.
And Maud was the younger one, right? I hope the Williams sisters didn't read that article. Or Venus didn't read that anyway.
Right, Maud, in fact, was 7 years younger than Lillian.
Well, and I know John McEnroe's played his brother, and I've played my sister in pro tournaments, and it's not a very nice feeling. It's very uncomfortable. And it has to be a little unsettling for both these players, for the mom, for the dad, for the 3 other sisters, for the crowd. The crowd has not taken one player under their wing like they usually do. There's polite applause whenever you hear a winner. I don't even know who to root for.
15-0.
Richard Williams, when he spoke with Bud Collins, had thought about it, had the right answer. America wins.
That was a good, you know, only Richard would come up with that answer with the flag draped around him. I sense Richard is leaning towards Venus a little bit to sort of even the score. Richard's always been very close to Venus, and Oracene has always been very close to Serena. Not that they've taken sides, but that's the way it's been. I mean, look at the body language of both players. Venus is, she just looks more confident. She looks more excited about playing. She looks very focused, and Serena's baffled right now. She's getting a little flustered. But it is her first time on center court, and that's an advantage that Venus has. Oof. Wow.
What a point. And great court coverage by both.
I hope the women in the locker room aren't watching this match, because this is what's going to happen in the future. Plus the fact they're only going to get better.
What a wonderful point. 30 all. Ooh. Now this time Serena stumbled
30-40.
and had to watch that ball land in.
Serving and volleying, though, trying to come in, but, you know, that just, she lost her step, but also she just doesn't have that natural way of just approaching the net after a serve. If I had both their serves, I'd be at the net for sure.
Very deliberate is Serena by comparison to Venus.
Oh.
Venus has taken opportunities.
Oh, great depth by Venus. So 2 breaks in a row. Venus Williams up 4-2 first set. Now for up to the minute scores and stats, visit the official Wimbledon website. It's wimbledon.org, powered by IBM. Raised a point earlier, Chris, that seems evident. Serena Williams is spending most of the match staring at the grass, looking straight down.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to look each other in the eyes. I mean, if there's ever one occasion to play the ball and not play your opponent, this would be the perfect occasion. Just jammed her there.
Loved it.
Well, we saw Venus and Hingis go on a remarkable string of breaking each other's serves, and this match starting along a similar path.
Well, once again, practicing with each other. They've seen the serves a million times, and that's an advantage, but also a disadvantage. Advantage for the returner server, but a disadvantage for the server. Martina Hingis is probably watching this match and saying, now, why didn't she miss those first serves against me?
Only
43%. That's, you don't want anything under 50%, that's for sure.
Yet remarkably, she's up a break, is Venus.
Right, she's still winning. And Serena's not taking advantage of her opportunities. That second serve is just sitting up. Perhaps she is the one that has more pressure.
Game is Venus
Well,
Williams.
a string of errors in that game by Serena. She had a chance. Venus looks slightly pained walking to the chair, but she's up 5-2.
Today we're talking about desktops. This is the IBM NetVista X40. It's all in one. It takes up 75%.
Have passes to be in, but are not seated on center court, able to watch on a large screen television. That hillside has been fairly popular during the last week of the fortnight.
Especially when Tim Henman was playing, and now it's just as crowded when the Williams sisters are playing.
And Serena serving to stay in the first set.
When I said before that maybe Serena's feeling the pressure, I mean, both players have to be feeling tremendous pressures for different reasons. Serena, you know, a lot of players, I'm sure she's reading some of the press, a lot of the players and tennis officials have picked her to win this match. They think she's the better player. She's just blitzed through everybody else. But Venus has to be feeling the pressure because she's the older sister without the Grand Slam title, and she doesn't want her younger sister to overshadow her.
Well, just watching the points here, Chris, it appears Venus is really out-hitting Serena.
You get a sense, though, if Serena could settle down, she's still the better mover around the court, and she can run down more balls.
30-50.
But she's had more errors. She's had 13 errors so far.
So far, amongst the 4 semifinalists, Serena with the most aces.
That's surprising. I thought Venus would have been on top there.
Only one so far in this match.
And here's an example of taking advantage of a second serve.
Let's first serve.
Serena continuing to make some unforced errors. You know, sometimes when you play an opponent who knows your game so well, whether it's your doubles partner or your practice partner or your sibling, it's important to come up with a new bag of tricks and come up with some different kinds of shots, because everybody plays to a pattern and everyone's pretty predictable. Oh.
The point where Serena hit the ball on set point against.
Well, she's shaking her head a little bit. She's not happy with the way she's been playing. She's been making too many errors. But hitting with such depth and authority on these shots, I'm sure she'd like to play every point like that. And you have a sense if she does lose this first set, she's just going to totally relax and play better the second set.
Advantage Venus Williams.
Well, that's the first come on Serena I've heard. End of the first set. If it gets to be a close third set, they'll take sides.
It's likely what everyone here wants to see. Shot by Serena Williams, and Venus with 2 breaks has captured the first set.
back on your feet after all that work you missed.
Yeah, good thing my supplemental insurance kicked in.
Supple what?
Flat.
Well, even the best health insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What does?
Flat.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
What?
Anyway, ask about it at work.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ask about what?
Flat.
Companies that know the internet best know where the business internet really starts. 96% of U.S.
met in a final was in Key Biscayne just about 18 months ago, spring of 1999. And in this match, Venus Williams took the first set. Father, in fact, was there. Serena came back to win the second set in a match that featured at times some tough to watch tennis. 107 unforced errors. Venus prevailed in the third set. They met again in a final last October at the Grand Slam Cup in Germany, which Serena won. And now on center court Wimbledon. Venus Williams, despite having a subpar serving first set, winning the set 6-2. And now starting the second on her serve.
Well, in that Lipton final, Venus was up a set and a break, and then really let Serena in, just made so many enforced errors. And at that stage, there was a hint of it being staged. That was the first time that people thought, well, perhaps this was already determined before the match. Serena needs to settle down this second set. She's now had a set under her belt. She's used to the grass, used to the surroundings and the occasion. We haven't seen the best of her yet. We've seen the best of Venus in that match with Hingis, and also this first set she played pretty well.
Love 30.
So a quick opening for Serena at love 30. That's an unfortunate characterization. You'd hate to think that in a match of this magnitude that those thoughts enter people's minds.
Well, and I just mention it because that's been the talk. There has been a buzz, but I would hope that that's not the case. It would really be holding back someone.
Would you think, Chris, that along the line, as these girls ostensibly don't pursue fashion careers for a while and stay with tennis, that they may have to separate ways, at least separate coaches?
I would think so. I mean, especially if they're reaching the finals of Grand Slam tournaments and they turn out to be #1 and #2, like Richard has forecasted, I would think they would have to hire different coaches.
Jane Harvey, longtime umpire from England, in the chair.
They're not going to argue too much, though, if there's a controversial call. I think they'll let it go under the circumstances.
So point being replayed on the overrule.
Ooh.
15 foot.
Chris, I can't help but think Martina Hingis is sitting somewhere saying,
wow, I mean,
please serve this way against me.
She's double faulted twice this game. She never would have done that against a Hingis. She was playing a lot tighter and more controlled tennis.
Serena getting behind Venus Williams gets the break to start the second set.
First game, second set.
And how low that first serve percentage for Venus is in the set she won.
It's really low, especially if you don't serve a volley. She can take a little off and serve 3/4 speed and probably still make most of her first points. More errors, though, on Serena's side. That percentage of first serves was up in the 70s against Hingis in that third set. we actually haven't seen the exciting rallies we saw against Hingis and Venus in the quarterfinals.
Well, again, history favors, believe it or not, sisters meeting for the 8th time, and the younger sister hasn't done very well. That's in the Open era. Well, she listened to Daddy, right?
Yeah, that's the shot that she used so effectively against Martina Hingis, and she was really back at the baseline when she hit that shot. Oh, beautiful serve. That's why she's hit so many aces, because she can move the ball around and slice it off the court. That toss is thrown really far to the right so she can get that natural slice. And Venus with that reach still can't get it.
Only the second ace for Serena.
Let second serve.
So far, this is a slugfest without a lot of finesse. We haven't seen much touch yet, and no drop shots, no topspin lobs. Just a lot of power.
Surprising to you at all?
No, it's always a slugfest when these two play. Another ace, right? You see the chalk fly up. She's got that serve going for her pretty well. She throws the toss really far to the right so she can carve that racket through the ball. I would think when she starts to throw it towards the right, Venus would know that that's where it's going.
And Serena solidifies the break. Holds for 2-love, second set.
Serena Williams leads.
And today's Aflac trivia question: when was the last time 3 American women, as they have this year, reached the Wimbledon semifinals? Why do I think you must be involved in this?
Don't ask me the answer. I've been wrong at every single one of these trivia questions.
15 left.
I want to say you'd have to put Tracy Austin in there one semi, and you're saying yes, like you know the answer?
No, I don't know the answer, but I'm thinking it's in your time.
Well, the American women have done really well this tournament. There are like 9 left in the round of 16, and I hope that means the USTA will keep pumping money into that developmental program. It's funny with the USTA because when American tennis doesn't look so good, they start to panic a little bit and they put more money into the developmental program. Oof. That's just not the most natural place for her to be at the net. I mean, they still love to be at the baseline, slugging it out, and they're not true volleyers yet. I mean, they can become. They're still young in their careers.
Hey, who else has an interesting decision coming up is Billie Jean King, with the Olympics on the horizon in Sydney.
She has to make a decision this Monday who she's going to put on the team, and she can put 3 singles players, pick 3 singles players and 1 doubles team. I think Lindsay's and Venus are a sure shoe-in right now.
Well, there you go.
There's our finesse. There, okay, that keeps me happy for another few games. That'll tide me over. And good play. I mean, Venus is out of the court, so far back. Sort of a high drop shot, but it'll work. And I have a feeling that Serena and Venus will be the doubles team.
I was just thinking, as well as they've played in their few doubles appearances.
And they don't even have a ranking because they've played less than 3 tournaments in the last year. But Lindsay Davenport and Karina Moraru would have to be considered, but they didn't play the French or Wimbledon because of injuries.
So Venus holds, but Serena up a break, second set.
Just like Mom used to make, huh? What? Never mind.
Strawberry? Don't mind if I do.
He's out, and it's all over for England.
Typical. Home, Dixon. Righto, sir.
C'est une infamie. C'est fantastique. C'est horrible.
Viens, papa.
I see her the same time almost every day. She's always there waiting for me. Kid Belago. I bring her lunch up to our apartment and I sing Italian love songs to her.
Philip Morris provides grants to Meals on Wheels programs so that thousands of seniors can have a hot meal and a visitor. Philip Morris and Meals on Wheels are fighting more than just hunger among the elderly. We're fighting loneliness. Working to make a difference, the people of Philip Morris.
Hey, back on your feet after all that work you missed.
Yeah, good thing my supplemental insurance kicked in.
Supple what?
Flat. Well, even the best health insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What does?
Flat. Oh, sorry, buddy.
What?
Anyway, ask about it at work.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ask about what?
The producer of Law & Order has done it again. A new show this fall on NBC. He's an award-winning journalist, part-time teacher.
How many victims?
And a full-time mystery solver.
It's about the truth. It's about finding out what really happened.
He begins where the crime ends.
I'd like your help in that.
Oliver Platt in Deadline, NBC this fall.
Back on center court, our Aflac trivia question. The last time 3 American women reached the Wimbledon semifinals, and our survey says, I was wrong. Much more recently, 1994, when Martina Navratilova played her final singles match here. Gigi Fernandez and Lori McNeil. Lori McNeil that year had knocked Steffi Graf out in the first round. And the 3 Americans, Conchita Martinez walked away as the champion.
I watched that match at home, and Martina really should have won that match. She was still the better grass court player.
That was her last singles match at Wimbledon.
It's almost inevitable that when you're playing your last tournament or you have your last year, you don't always do your best. You know, because if she were to win Wimbledon, she might think, oh, I wonder how many more I can win. And I'm still at the top. It's hard. Oof. So interesting, when Martina played these 2 women in doubles yesterday, Martina also, after all the praise, she said, I would have beaten them in my prime, but they haven't reached their prime yet, so.
Serena continuing to have slight problems.
Right, she's not getting her footing. We used to have little nubs under our shoe. I mean, almost like cleats, but not quite as extreme when we played on the grass, and I'm pretty sure the players still wear those shoes.
Special grass court shoes?
Yes. Let's see there. Hold the grass a little bit more. Oh, yeah. We got a yes. A little emotion. First sign of emotion in a positive way from Serena. Just hoping to stay alive in this match and do well this second set to pull it to 3 sets. I just don't think she's keeping her left arm up high enough. Her whole body's coming down that serve. She needs to reach higher, extend herself. Serena's not down and out yet. This could become quite a match. She's the one now that looks more pumped up. It's a matter of her settling down this set.
And Serena appears to have done just that. 3-1 now for Serena in the second set. Log on to wimbledon.msnbc.com. Chris Everett sizes up these ladies' semifinals, compares the talents of the Williams sisters. Bud Collins previews the gentlemen's semis. And don't forget to check out the searchable Wimbledon video archives, all at wimbledon.msnbc.com.
Love 15.
Well, perhaps the service problems are starting to catch up to Venus.
Well, she didn't take advantage of that first set. I mean, she came out of the starting gate so tough and intense and focused. In the beginning of the second set, she's like out to lunch.
And other players, Chris, who are asked about Venus, that is the word that comes up over and over, consistency.
Yet when you see Serena win the last couple of games and the way she's winning her points, you sense that if she can keep that brand of tennis up, she does look like the better player.
15.
But then she'll surprise you with an error 3 or 5 feet outside the court, right when you think she's starting to play her best tennis. So still the more inconsistent one, in this match anyway. Serena, by the way, the most feared of the players between Lindsay Davenport. Lindsay Davenport said, listen, I've lost to her the last 4 times. I don't want to play her. Martina Hingis even said to me, I'd rather play Venus than Serena. So she's the more feared of the two.
30-40.
Venus just served her first ace. She's trying to make that a moot point. Venus hoping to give Lindsay Davenport something else to worry about.
That other semifinal match is sort of like an afterthought, isn't it, after this match?
And you wonder if a defending ladies champion has ever been in that kind of a situation. 2 matches in a row where she's been in that role, Lindsay Davenport.
I think Lindsay's used to not being in the limelight, though, and she likes that. She prefers to be quiet and not be the player that everyone's talking about. Nobody was talking about her last year, and she kind of snuck through that round after round and snuck to the finals. And I know I picked Steffi Graf to win the match, and sure enough, Lindsay, in a very quiet way, just won that match. No fanfare.
So now a second serve for Serena Williams to try to get a 2-break edge.
Now, speaking of Lindsay, you know, we haven't seen her play that same brand of tennis that she did last year when she won Wimbledon. And you sense that, I sense anyway, whoever wins this match is going to be the Wimbledon winner.
Really?
Let's
Well, you let Richard know. He'd be happy to hear that.
Well, these two girls, I mean, they can combine the power with great mobility around the court, and I think Lindsay, that's where she still lacks. I haven't seen her work as hard this year as she did last year. Sort of wonder if the incentive is as high. And, you know, I think once you win Wimbledon, you're definitely not as eager.
After that great passing shot, again break point. And a second serve.
Oh, she's repeatedly having problems with her moving on this slick grass. We've hardly seen Venus off her, you know, out of line, but Serena, who's the better mover.
Do you start blaming the shoe here if you're Serena?
Well, she's playing on the grass for 2 weeks now. The grass is pretty much the same on every court.
Advantage Venus Williams.
I don't think her shoe manufacturer would like to hear you say that.
Battle, but Venus Williams saves 2 break points and holds. Serena still up a break in the second.
There's big-time tennis at Wimbledon today, so passions will not be on, but the passion.
To you by Lincoln American Luxury, by Enron, a leading energy and broadband services company, by March 1st, a new world, a new way, march1st.com, and by Nike.
All right, here is a look. We just had a grass court shoe delivered to us, Chris, and as you said, the slight little rubber nubs on the bottom.
Just to get a better grip on the grass, especially if it is wet or slick. But you don't wear these shoes if the court is dried out. If the sun has come out and the courts are hard and dry, then you wear just your normal shoe without the nubs.
Did you ever have your name emblazoned on the back of your shoes like that?
No,
Chrissy?
I didn't. No.
Well, is there anything else to is there nerves or anything that would cause the footwork problem Serena's having?
Well, maybe Venus is just catching her off balance. Maybe Venus has changed the direction of the ball a little bit too often, and she's playing a few different shots. But you have to understand that at the baseline, you have 2 different surfaces. You have the brown patches, and then you have the green grass, and you're also going to get different bounces.
And quickly to 40 love on Serena's service.
Why am I not surprised that this may go 3 sets? Are you surprised?
No. In the last 2 matches they played in 1999, both went 3 sets.
40-50.
They actually, when they practice, they don't keep score. They don't play sets. They just, you know, trade a lot of ground strokes, hit down the line, cross court, a lot of drills, but very rarely do they play sets.
Okay, Miss Serena Williams.
4-2 Serena, second set. Our coverage of the championships Wimbledon continues noon Eastern and Pacific tomorrow with the gentlemen's semifinals. Pete Sampras still alive, hoping for his 7th Wimbledon. Andre Agassi alive himself, hoping to set up a rematch of last year's memorable final. And the first men's semifinalist qualifier since J.P. McEnroe in 1977. Vladimir Volchkov plays Sampras tomorrow.
Agassi's definitely had the tougher route in that draw, hasn't he? Just Philippoussis just didn't return well enough for Agassi. Here we go again, once more, another slip. Because it's like target practice, and they both pass very, very well.
And the last few trips for Venus have ended up this way. Serena punishing the second serve of Venus. Well, Chris, here's your chance. Who do you like tomorrow?
My big chance. You know, I just think Pete looks good to win the whole tournament. He's the only player left that can hold serve every time he wants to, and he has a good return. Andre has to work so hard. You know, Andre has to work hard even to hold his serve.
The Volchkov story, so amazing. Here's a player that out of Belarus. There was no junior program, no funding. In his country when he grew up, his father worked at an automobile plant, and young Vladimir used to sneak onto the company's one tennis court. Went on to be a junior champion here 4 years ago.
30-40.
One incident, talking about sneaking, that happened with Venus and Serena. Venus was entered into a tournament when she was 9 years old, and Serena was not entered. Her parents didn't enter her. Well, she sent her entry form in with money from her own pocket and entered the tournament, much to her parents' surprise. She arrived there and reached the final. Lost to Venus in the finals, but her mother, Orsine, said, I didn't expect to see my daughter there when I brought Venus to the tournament. She had snuck onto the court herself, and it just showed how much she really wanted to compete.
What an enterprising young lady at 8 years of age.
Sent her entry form, sent her own money, and they had no money in those days.
Both sisters have talked of the matches they played in their early years when Serena would actually cheat, calling the lines in order to compete with the older sister.
She always wanted to catch up to Big Sis and admired her at the same time. Richard Williams likes to tell the stories of them growing up in Compton in the ghetto, dodging bullets while they were practicing, surrounded by drug dealers, and you just have to take his word for it.
Back to deuce. Well, the point is that there are many different ways to reach this level.
Well, they grew up in definitely the public park system, very much like Billie Jean King and myself. Just proves also you don't need a lot of money. You know, it's sort of considered the rich man's sport, but you know, you just go to a public court and you have 2 rackets and a couple balls, and it's a pretty easy way to learn.
Serena making everything a struggle for Venus in this set.
Oh, even taking care of those first serves, Venus has taken something off her first serve because their percentage is so low, but even a 3/4 speed serve, Serena's eating it up. Look at this cross-court winner. You sort of wonder, does she need to take chances and get that first serve in, or give her a 3/4 speed serve? There she went. She took a chance and went for a big first serve. The serve was 118 miles per hour.
Venus had one 100, just shy of 128 here 2 years ago. Set a woman's record.
Advantage Serena Williams.
And not able to approach that 128 this year. This the fastest serve, 119 this year.
First serve.
I was interested in seeing how Martina Navratilova, a player really from another era, was going to handle the Williams power. And sure enough, the second point, Martina got aced by Venus. The second game, she got nailed in the shoulder by Serena. And in the second set, Venus hit her in the head. She's okay. She's still alive and well. But boy, never seen Martina so attacked in one match.
Advantage Venus Williams. Game is Venus Williams.
Well, a long game, a 5 deuce point game, but Venus Williams holds.
She has such great racket head speed and reach. Both these women players do. Of course, the new equipment doesn't help either. The rackets are a lot faster. But it's not only power, it's also obviously where you place the ball, how deep you get the ball. We're closing in on the men. That's what I like to say. You know, the speed of the serves. Men were always known for their serves, and women just basically very few aces. But
you see how when Serena has put that first serve in, as you would expect.
Right, they win it, and also whoever, I mean, they win cheap points off their first serve. And even if their opponent gets the ball back, they're dictating the points.
Still no Richard Williams sighting in center court, but our friends at the BBC have reported to us there's been a sighting of Richard Williams jogging through the streets here in the Wimbledon neighborhood.
You got to be kidding.
Chris, I couldn't make that up.
That Richard, that, you know, you just never can tell with Richard. He just takes you by surprise. He's a character.
Mentioned during the fortnight, you can jog here, and if you put the right headphones on, he can actually listen to a radio play-by-play broadcast of this match on BBC Radio.
I'm sure he knows what's going on, and if it should go to a third set, I would think that he would make an appearance.
Very suddenly.
She's caught up.
Serena broken at love. 4-all, second set. And the Grand Slam record for Venus Williams after the final as a teen at the U.S. Open. This is her best advance since.
Yeah, 97 was her best finish, and she's still searching to reach a final of another Grand Slam. Never in her wildest dreams thinking that maybe sister Serena would be the first one to even win a Grand Slam.
There's Venus with a final and then 2 semis at the U.S. Open. This is her first semifinal in any of the other slams.
Well, the whole demeanor of both these girls has been a lot different with Richard here. And they are definitely more focused. They're definitely more fearless in their tennis.
Well, just in the last few minutes as well, Chris, this has turned around. Venus saved 6 break points in the last 2 service games.
There's no continuity in this match so far. That's why it's hard to predict what's going to happen, because it's really an up and down. The momentum is just changing from player to player.
Well, Serena Williams, look at how easily she has cruised through the first 5 rounds.
Just with no one to test her at all, to see if she could get to that top level. She hasn't needed to play her best tennis, but today she needs it, and it's been in and out this whole match. And we're starting to show some cracks right now in Serena's game. She had that big lead, and she's let it go.
That's out. Off Serena's racket. Well, it looked for sure moments ago we'd have a 3rd set. Now Serena Williams will have to serve to stay in the match.
Now a scene.
The fact that Venus Williams had a stern test, obviously a huge test to beat Hingis, and Serena hasn't had one during this fortnight.
There's so many different factors. There's also the factor that Venus is hungrier, really, in this match. And Serena, I can't bring this point home enough. Serena has won her Grand Slam. Venus is still searching for it. But believe me, if Venus does not win this match, she will be so devastated. You know, little sis once again has overshadowed her, and she just seems to be the inspired player and very composed. A lot of composure here.
15.
Mauricine Williams, the mother, after the U.S. Open last year, said she felt that could be a wake-up for Venus, that she knew she needed to be mentally tougher as the older sister. And you're right, so far in this Wimbledon, there's been no question about that from Venus.
She's almost been poker face in this match. You haven't seen much emotion. She's internalizing everything. Definitely the mature player out there. It's funny to realize that Richard was talking about retirement 3 years ago for Venus, but Venus never herself came out and said it. But I think that really revved her up to come out and compete. Serena's still hanging in there.
14-15.
Trying to even the score here to 5-all.
Ooh. 14-30.
Her 5th double fault. Still a point for 5-all.
double fault and then an ace.
Well, there's a sign of some mental toughness herself. Sudden death game, and Serena holds. I want you to dig back into your reservoir. When was the last time you hit a ball with your left hand?
Don't even go there. Look at this. Left-handed forehand. Just hustling the whole time. Andrea Jaeger used to do that too. She used to hit a lot of left-handed shots.
15.
Maybe she's ambidextrous. Who knows?
That was more like the powerful first serve.
I think they're getting some bad bounces too on the courts. It's the latter part of the second week. It's bound to happen once in a while.
40-15.
Some big serves in there from Venus. She's just trying to close this match. She doesn't want to get to a third set. These two girls, look at their early preparation. They get the rackets back so soon. Then all they have to do is get their feet to the ball. The racket's already back.
To Venus's horror, thought she'd had that game.
That call might normally elicit a closer call, but I don't think in this match. When Serena can turn it on like that, she looks the most imposing, the more imposing of the two, doesn't she? Trouble is, she hasn't been able to keep it up a whole match.
Boy, what a return that was by Serena on a huge first serve.
Well, you know, she can read her serve. It's as simple as that. She's seen that serve coming at her thousands of times, and she can read it easier than any other player. I mean, that's why they're so good too. They have each other to practice against. They just go at each other every single day.
Venus Williams. Game, Venus Williams.
And then an ace, just her second of the match. But Venus holds to once again put the pressure of survival on Serena.
And they are.
When
I think of Venus Williams this whole tournament, I think of focus. She She's been turning down all press. We know that because she's turned down some interviews with us, unfortunately. But last year at this tournament, she was emotionally all over the place. She was shopping. She was staying around and watching matches all day. They had a newsletter that they were writing at the time, and just very scattered. But there's a new sense of focus with her this week, this whole tournament. And I think her dad has a lot to do with it.
15.
Morricine was with Venus at the French Open. Both girls, of course, Serena did not play the French. Both girls asked Richard to come to Wimbledon.
Let's first.
Big game for both players, though. Serena needs to win this game to stay in the match, and Venus very well could win a spot into the finals by winning this game.
Either one of these players gets a short ball,
yeah,
it's over.
Well, it's not even a short ball, it's a mid-court ball, and they eat it up. This wasn't even a short ball, it was past the service line. $14-15. 1 point from a tiebreaker.
Serena with some emotion, clenching her fist, shouting to herself. It's just for the second time.
Well, that's
in 12 sets, the two sisters will play a tiebreak.
And that's her personality. I mean, Serena is the more outgoing, perhaps the friendlier with the other players on the tour. And Venus is, you know, more stoic and just internalizes things. More serious of the two, anyway.
First serve to Venus and first error by Venus. The first set they ever played against each other was the only other tiebreak that they've played.
So far, it had a little bit of everything, every element of the game. Venus comes into the net. Serena hits a good passing shot, but Venus's long reach, those long arms, she can just get that, the extra couple of inches that most players can't. I'm pulling for a 3-set. I want them to go 3 sets. I don't want them to leave the court. I'm just appreciating their athleticism and their great tennis playing and this whole sense of history. I think the fans feel the same way. They'd love to see a 3rd set now.
I know my family sat in the stands yesterday for the Agassi match and said that the locals just wanted 5 sets. Good friend Martina Navratilova wrote a column for USA Today yesterday advocating best of 5 for the women.
I think the men should go to best of 3. I sort of disagree with her. We've tried the best of 5 at the year-end championships in Madison Square Garden, and it never worked out.